And the Chicago Bulls are moving on. They survive. They advance in 6.
Bucks needed 3. And they throw it away. Wow.
Jaylen Brown goes by Parker, gives it up. In the corner, Rozier. Got it.
Now it's Celtics-Sixers. That is going to be a lot of fun. We had a lot of wars with the Sixers in our days.
He hits 1 of 2, and it's grabbed by Leonard. The Raptors were just 2 games behind the Milwaukee Bucks in the regular season.
Versatility, their athleticism, they're well coached.
That's it. The Milwaukee Bucks lose. The best team in the NBA is gone.
It's never gonna happen, is it? It seemed like Giannis and the Bucks, despite being the best team in the league for multiple seasons, just couldn't win at all. All of this talent on the roster, and yet they still couldn't get it done come crunch time. Until this happened, completely redefining the notion and legacy of Giannis Antetokounmpo. So this is the story of the 2021 Milwaukee Bucks and how they made irreversible damage to NBA history. The 2013 NBA Draft marks the start of a new era for the Milwaukee Bucks, and no one even knew it at the time.
With the 15th pick in the 2013 NBA Draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Giannis Antetokounmpo from Athens, Greece.
The Bucks in the 2013-14 season, to be blunt, did not play that well. As a matter of fact, they played historically bad. The 2014 Bucks with a rookie Giannis, a second-year Chris Middleton, Ersan Ilyasova, and their best player Brandon Knight finished with a pitiful 15-67 record, placing as the 19th worst record in NBA history. I think it's safe to say that the 2014 Bucks were nowhere near a contender, but they took closer steps the following season. In the 2014-15 season, the Bucks made visible progress towards their road to glory, drafting Duke star Jabari Parker as the 2nd overall pick, just for him to tear his ACL 25 games into the season. Despite this injury, the Bucks, some would say, overachieved in the 2015 season. The duo of Giannis and Chris Middleton was improving game by game, while Brandon Knight was still the number 1 guy in the team, averaging 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists, only to be traded midway through the season. However, they received the 2014 Rookie of the Year winner from the 76ers, Michael Carter-Williams. The Bucks finished with an even 41-41 record this year, which was good enough to put them as the 6th seed in the East. Yeah, the East really sucked back then. They were set to play against the 3-seeded Chicago Bulls, led by their big 3 of Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler, and Pau Gasol. And let's just say, this series was a learning lesson for the young Bucks team. The Bucks lost this series in 6 games, but not without this canon event from Giannis and Mike Dunleavy. Earlier in the series, Mike Dunleavy zeroed in on Michael Carter-Williams to take cheap shots at him. Giannis, noticing this, took matters into his own hands and did this.
Also back, numbers again, and Mike Dunleavy splash.
You knew it was coming. Count the basket and a foul.
Let's just say, this series was one to forget about for the Bucks. On to the 2016 season. While 2015 saw the Bucks make pretty noticeable strides towards contention, 2016 was quite the opposite. As a matter of fact, it got even worse. The 2015-16 Milwaukee Bucks were the very first team that was led by the Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo duo, a learning patch for the young killers. The Bucks with the starting lineup of Michael Carter-Williams, Chris Middleton, Jabari Parker, Giannis, and Greg Monroe finished with a pitiful 33-49 record, a major setback for the squad, resulting in a missed playoff berth and a long offseason to recharge for next year. The 2016-17 Milwaukee Bucks saw Giannis Antetokounmpo take major strides as a rising superstar, increasing his scoring by 6 points and significantly increasing his rebounds, assists, steals, and block numbers. Giannis made his first All-Star appearance as well as his first All-NBA team and took home the Most Improved Player of the Year award, but it really seemed like all this was for nothing. Chris Middleton missed more than half the season due to a hamstring injury. Jabari Parker tore his ACL. Tony Snell started 80 games that entire year. Everything else around Giannis was straight chaos. This resulted in the Bucks finishing with a pretty mediocre 42-40 record, awarding them the 6th seed and a trip to Canada to play the 3-seeded Toronto Raptors. While Giannis had a pretty good series, putting up 25, 9, 4, and 2 steals and 2 blocks a game, everyone else around him wasn't enough, a common theme this season. The Bucks lost the series in 6 games. However, Milwaukee knew they had their guy after this year. The 2017-18 season was once again another breakout season for Giannis, raising his points per game another 4 points, while putting up double-digit rebound numbers for the very first time in his career. Chris Middleton put up 20 points or more for the very first time of his career, while playing 82 whole games, an even greater achievement arguably. The Bucks traded away veteran big man Greg Monroe to get Eric Bledsoe, aka Mini LeBron, who gave them a respectable 18 points a game on good efficiency. The Bucks were without a doubt a young and upcoming team in the NBA contenders list, but they still remained in the league's purgatory of mediocrity, finishing with a record of 44-38. The Bucks finished in 2018 with the 7th seed, where they had to face off against the 2-seeded Boston Celtics, led by Kyrie Irving. Except he was hurt. Maybe, just maybe, the Bucks could pull off an upset against the Celtics' super young core of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Terry Rozier. However, after a very hard-fought series that went to 7 games, Boston ultimately got the last laugh, barely edging out a first-round victory. For the 3rd time in the last 4 seasons, the Bucks have gotten eliminated in the first round, a very deflating spot to be in, but this would change real quick. The 2019 season for Milwaukee was a night and day difference.
Harassed, back to Lopez, 2 to shoot, Middleton a bomb.
Giannis shows, goes nuts, he's okay.
Every possession right now is huge.
That's why they call him the freak.
The Bucks secured the number 1 seed with a record of 60-22, a 16-win improvement from the previous season. The last time they put up 60 wins in a season, Marcus Johnson was near the top of MVP talks in the league. Anyways, the 2019 season was once again another improvement for Giannis, raising his averages to 28, 12, and 6 a night, while taking home his very first MVP. Chris Middleton made his first All-Star appearance as well this year. Brook Lopez also joined the squad from the Lakers and proved to be a huge floor spacer for Giannis. I mean, literally, the guy's named Splash Mountain. Milwaukee also made improvements to their coaching as well, getting rid of Jason Kidd and getting Mike Budenholzer from Atlanta, who also, by the way, won Coach of the Year in 2019. The Bucks were rolling this season, but the playoffs would be the real test for this team. The Bucks first bulldozed the Detroit Pistons, never losing by more than 15 points in a single game this series. Next, it was off to play the 4-seeded Boston Celtics, a rematch from last year's epic duel. It started off with a terrible Game 1 loss from Milwaukee, while some people overreacted. Shout out Paul Pierce.
I don't know where Milwaukee goes from here because
Whoa.
No,
So is this over?
No, listen. I think it's over. I think it's over.
The Bucks kept their cool and won 4 straight games to close out the series in 5. The Bucks were rolling, with Giannis looking unstoppable. The supporting cast of Middleton, Bledsoe, George Hill, and Nikola Mirotic all looked good as well. But their next battle was going to be a real test for this young squad. In the conference finals, the Bucks were set to play against the red-hot Toronto Raptors, led by Kawhi Leonard. The Bucks got off to a good start though, winning their first 2 games at home, but it all went downhill from here. The Bucks then proceeded to drop 4 straight games to the Toronto Raptors, suffering the fate of the Claw. The Bucks just got outmatched in this series. Kawhi Leonard, after Game 2, announced that he would take on the task of guarding the Greek Freak. The Raptors put up the Giannis wall, and the Bucks had no answer. The 2020 season for the Bucks was a season of vengeance, with a bad taste in their mouth from last year's heartbreaking defeat. The 2020 Bucks somehow found a way to elevate their regular season success from last year's already historic season. The Bucks in 2020 got off to a blistering hot start, getting off to a 26-4 record through their first 30 games, a feat that only 8 other teams in NBA history have achieved. Of these 8 teams, 5 of them went on to win a championship. The 2020 Milwaukee Bucks also had an out-of-this-world 52-8 record through their first 60 games. Only 3 other teams in the league's history have done this before, that being the 2016 Warriors, the 96 Bulls, and the 97 Bulls. All historically elite teams. Everything was going perfect for the Bucks until...
China has identified the cause of a mysterious new virus, coronavirus.
There are fears a rapidly spreading virus has reached Australia. This is a rapidly emerging situation.
I have today declared that the coronavirus presents a public health emergency in the United States.
We will be suspending all travel from Europe. You must stay at home.
Right as the Bucks were in stride, the most unpredictable event that no one could have forecasted hit the world, and this noticeably threw off the momentum of the Bucks. Milwaukee pre-pandemic was a 53-12 win team. During the bubble, they were a 3-5 win team. However, on the bright side, Giannis won his second MVP and his very first Defensive Player of the Year, being the 3rd player in league history to win both awards in the same season. However, all these historic achievements mean nothing without a ring behind them. The Bucks once again finished as the 1 seed in the East and were scheduled to face off against the 8-seed Orlando Magic. While the Bucks thought this would be a breeze, Orlando hit them with a sucker punch. The Orlando Magic completely shocked Milwaukee in Game 1, winning 122-110 with a 35-point, 14-rebound game from Nikola Vucevic. But similar to the Celtics in 2019, this didn't faze Milwaukee a bit, taking the next 4 games and closing out the series. Their next series was against the scorching hot 5-seed Miami Heat led by Jimmy Butler. And the Heat were no joke, quickly taking a 3-0 lead in this series, completely shocking the NBA. While the Bucks got a Game 4 win, the Heat left the Bucks with no hope, closing out the series in Game 5.
The teams that are going to be here into the finals, talking about into October, Butler, vicious! First 3-pointer of the night for the Bucks. Butler taking on contact, and a chance at 3 for the Heat.
Getting cuts.
Butler, deep 3, and he buries it. What a night for Butler.
No fouls. Just trying to get a stop. There's still a lot of time.
Butler again. He has been magnificent.
What was supposed to be the Bucks' breakout year to win a championship unexpectedly got cut short by the hungry underdogs. After back-to-back losses against opponents Milwaukee was supposed to beat in the playoffs, many fans and critics started to doubt the Bucks' legitimacy. Combined with the fact that Giannis' contract came to an end after the previous 2020 season, and the media was going wild with Giannis trade ideas. But the Greek Freak quickly put these narratives to bed, signing an extension with the Bucks. Giannis was all in to run it back, but with a twist. In a huge 4-way trade, the Bucks sent off Eric Bledsoe and George Hill in exchange for one of, if not the best defensive guard in the league, Drew Holiday. The Bucks' defense was on locks, with Drew Holiday, the former DPOI Giannis, and the shoddy racing big man Brook Lopez. Not to mention, they also picked up 6th man Bobby Portis as a free agent. While the Bucks maintained their dominance in the 2021 regular season, it wasn't quite at the same level as the 2019 or 2020 season, finishing with a record of 46-26 in 2021. However, the team still looked great, with Giannis putting up MVP-type numbers, Chris Middleton just being Chris Middleton, and Drew Holiday fitting well into the mix. The Bucks also picked up PJ Tucker from the Rockets in exchange for a bag of chips, who will prove to be crucial in a bit. The Bucks, with their new and retooled roster, were ready to make a splash this postseason, and who better to start it off against than the Miami Heat, a chance for the Bucks to get their sweet, sweet revenge. And the Bucks this time didn't play around with their food. They quickly ended this series in 4 games, giving Miami no hope. The next series was going to be the biggest test this roster faced all season. A matchup against the 2-seeded Brooklyn Nets, led by the big 3 of Kyrie, James Harden, and KD. The Nets quickly got out to a 2-0 lead, and it looked like it was going to be another disappointing postseason heartbreak for the Bucks again. But luck was finally with them.
Has just gone to the locker room after appearing to injure his right hamstring. Now,
boy, this is a very physical game. As Irving throws it in, goes down hard on his right shoulder.
Both Harden and Kyrie got injured throughout this series. The Bucks then tied up the series 2-2, but Kevin Durant showed up to spoil the party in Milwaukee, rising to a level that few players have ever in the league's history. Kevin Durant lit up the Bucks' entire team in Game 5 to give Brooklyn a 3-2 advantage, dropping a near 50-point triple-double with great efficiency. However, the Bucks responded back at the Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee. The Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday duo combined for a whopping 89 points to tie the series up 3-3. We're going to Game 7. Game 7 in Brooklyn was an all-out bloodbath. In the first half, Kevin Durant and a limp James Harden were both hitting countless crucial shots.
Looking to make his move, and he does, and hits.
However, it was Giannis Antetokounmpo and Brook Lopez from Milwaukee keeping the game close. The Nets finished the first half with a 6-point lead, but that quickly changed as Giannis gave the Bucks a 1-point lead going into the fourth quarter, dominating the paint. But in the fourth quarter, KD looked simply unconscious, hitting clutch shot after clutch shot. With 6 seconds left in the game, the Nets drew up this play to get Kevin Durant the ball, and this happened.
All right, the Nets looking to inbound. Jeff Green gets it into Durant. Here is Durant moving on Tucker. He turns, he shoots.
With time winding down, Durant hit the most clutch three-pointer of his entire NBA career to put the Nets up 1 with 1 second left. This shot pretty much sealed the series for the Nets to go into the conference finals. Well, except it wasn't actually a 3. KD with his breadstick feet had his foot on the 3-point line, making it a 2. This game was going into overtime. Well, the Nets gave everything they could through this entire 7-game series. They seemingly ran out of gas in OT, shooting 1 of 12 and scoring 2 points in this period, compared to the Bucks' 2 of 6 shooting while scoring 6 points. And with that, the Bucks merely escaped death by the teeth. It's on to the conference finals now. Their conference finals matchup was against the 5-seeded Atlanta Hawks, who shocked everyone and upset the 4-seeded Knicks and the 1-seeded 76ers. As a matter of fact, the Bucks even got a taste of this in Game 1, taking an early loss and getting lit up for 48 points and 11 assists from Trae Young, but the Bucks quickly took a 2-1 lead in this series, taking the advantage. However, this series wouldn't come without a heart attack for the Bucks in Game 4.
Around Middleton. Oh, he was trying to lob to Capella, but the ball went in.
And someone's down. And it looks like it's Giannis grabbing that that left knee.
And just like that, the Bucks' championship hopes were gone. The Bucks managed to win the next 2 games, closing the series out in 6. However, the question of Giannis' health still remained for the NBA Finals. Milwaukee was set to face off against the hungry Phoenix Suns on the big stage. Chris Paul was looking to complete his basketball resume with that illustrious NBA championship. Devin Booker was looking to establish himself as a bona fide superstar with the ring. The city of Phoenix was thirsty for their first ever championship, and no better time than the present for the Suns. However, bad news struck for Phoenix as Giannis was cleared to play, and his knee was looking good. The Suns had home court advantage this series. In Game 1 in the Valley, Chris Paul put up an absolute clinic.
That's his first field goal mark. Chris Paul's jumper. Once again. Paul's got to do something with it. 24-second clock winding down. Fires up a 3. It's good. And the foul. They've gone back to switching with Lopez out.
Paul lit up the Bucks with 32 points and 9 assists to give the Suns a Game 1 victory. In Game 2, it looked even worse for Milwaukee. The Suns were pretty much doing whatever they wanted to Milwaukee. Booker, Paul, and Bridges combined for 81 points to give the Suns a 2-0 lead in this series. When a team is up 2-0 in the NBA Finals, they win the series about 86% of the time. Only 4 teams in the league's history have came back from a deficit like this, that being the 1969 Celtics, the 1977 Trailblazers, the 2006 Heat, and the 2016 Cavaliers. And the Bucks were looking to become the 5th team on this list. The Bucks were in a do-or-die situation, while the Suns with another win would pretty much guarantee their first banner in the rafters. In Game 3, Milwaukee was playing like there was no tomorrow, getting out to a 15-point first half lead. However, one play almost took all championship hope away from the Bucks.
Where you're at your very best, in the paint. And Johnson, he throws it down, and a blocking foul called on Tucker.
This Cam Johnson poster gave the Suns momentum to go onto a 14-5 run. Luckily for the Bucks, the Greek Freak was playing like he had a chip on his shoulder, putting up 41 points, 13 boards, and 6 assists to keep the Bucks afloat. Game 4 really marks the turning point for the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA Finals, but this game wouldn't come without an all-out battle between the shooting guards. Devin Booker started the first half electric. The basket was as wide as the ocean for him, but Chris Middleton responded with his own dynamite in the second half. Middleton and Booker both had 40-plus point games in this MJ versus Kobe type battle, but nothing represents this game more than this iconic block from Giannis.
Booker with Tucker on him. Throws it up for 8. Shot blocked by Antetokounmpo. What a block from Giannis.
This is pretty much a guaranteed dunk on anyone else in the league, but not Giannis. The Bucks won this game in a nail-biter and tied the series up 2-2. Game 5 was in the Valley at Phoenix, where the Suns took no time to take a 21-37 lead in the first quarter. Devin Booker was looking like a prime Kobe Bryant out there. However, this was eventually offset by the monster second quarter from the Bucks, where Drew Holiday was going insane. This game was neck and neck for the majority of the second half, until this NBA Finals defining moment happened.
Booker the drive, gets inside, leans in, knocked away and stolen by Holiday. Phoenix has to foul. Antetokounmpo throws it down.
Drew Holiday came up with the most clutch steal of his life, and Giannis threw in the alley-oop from him. Despite being pushed in the back by Chris Paul and his head hitting the backboard, the Bucks take Game 5. If a championship was going to happen for Milwaukee, it was going to be tonight in Game 6 at the Fiserv Forum. If the Suns were to get a win here, the Bucks' chances to close a Game 7 in Phoenix would be pretty slim. The Bucks got off to a phenomenal start in the first quarter, starting off with this block on Mikal Bridges from Giannis to give the Bucks a 16-29 point lead. But Phoenix wasn't quite done yet. They put up a monster second quarter and gave the Suns a 5-point lead going into the second half. The Suns wanted to take this series to the Valley, but Giannis had other plans.
Holiday was brilliant in Game 5, one of the best games of his life. Antetokounmpo gets the roll, count it and one. Antetokounmpo calling for it. Goes against Crowder, gets inside, Banker won't go. The rebound, back up and in. First half when they were really struggling offensively. Holiday inside, Antetokounmpo lays it up and in. Holiday back on Booker. Antetokounmpo picks him up. Booker blocked by Antetokounmpo. Finds some room, kicks it out, Connaughton. Middleton inside, nice entry.
This man is right now, he's the most overrated in basketball. But he's not going to close out a game for you. He's not going to go out and win that big game. The Bucks are not going to make it out the second round. They got to see the Boston Celtics in the second round. Do you understand that?
I don't know where Milwaukee goes from here. Because
what do you
Whoa.
No,
So is this over?
No, listen. I think it's over.
Bro, he has to leave. He has to leave, bro. Nobody's going to Milwaukee. I've been there. I played there.
Nobody.
He is unstoppable. Now, where's Giannis on this? Where do you want me to put Giannis? And I'm not anti-Giannis, but where do you want me to put him in terms of value? Late in games, none of these players, late in games, I feel are a liability. Giannis is, with 4 minutes to go.
This isn't even close because when Kevin Durant comes back, that 7-foot monster that he is, it ain't even close between him and Giannis or him and anybody else on.
What is your goal for your career?
I want to be an NBA player.
You know that doesn't work in the playoffs, right? What? You don't just go dunk on everybody in the playoffs.
Middleton inside, nice entry pass, and the slam from Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo closed out this Game 6 with an unreal 50-point, 14-rebound, and 5-block performance, while actually hitting his free throws this game. And with that, the Bucks were the 2021 NBA champions.
And that'll do it. It's over. The Bucks have done it. The long wait has ended. After a half-century, the Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions once again.
The emotions come pouring out. One of the greatest nights in Milwaukee sports history ends in a coronation. This extraordinary story of this extraordinary young man gives him his NBA title. The Greek Freak is a Greek NBA champion.
Damn.
Another Game 7 in the storied history of this franchise. The Bucks will fall short.
Get it to Middleton. 2-point game. Butler steps in front. Middleton. Allen has it. Down the lane. He ran out of time. The Bucks don't get off the shot. And the Miami Heat become the 6th in NBA history to win as an 8th seed in the first round.
The Indiana Pacers tasting postseason success for the first time in 10 years as they are moving on to the semifinals.
And that'll do it. It's over. The Bucks have done it. Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions once again.
The emotions come pouring out. One of the greatest nights in Milwaukee sports history.